My name is Joseph Holguin. I was just up here, co-founder of SmartLoop. We're a chatbot platform for, right now we really focus on sales, marketing, customer service. You can build anything, but like I said, those are the use cases that we really focus on. I've been in digital marketing for about 10 years, probably more. Really started out when Facebook launched business pages. And around that, I started helping like my family. They grow spices and vegetables, and we started selling them online. I built up all these communities. I started working at agencies, helping them really understand how to build communities, sell products through Facebook pages. And for 5 years, we've been building startups. SmartLoop has been around for about 3 years. So SmartLoop is a platform to help you easily build chatbots. You don't have to write any code, you just sign up. It's just pretty much like Squarespace for chatbots. We have a lot of people that are not developers, they don't have to write any code, and they can build out these chatbots really easily. Some of the customers we work with Coca-Cola, AOL, National Geographic, some government clients, some telcos, and some universities. Okay. But today I'm really going to focus on how a university is enrolling more students using Facebook Messenger bots. So a little bit about the client that we work with is University of the People. They were founded in 2009. They're a nonprofit. They have students in over 20,000, well, they have 20,000 students in over 200 countries. So these are a lot of students overseas. They have some in the US, but it's primarily overseas. So their goal was really to enroll more students. And we're working with them through Facebook education team. They reached out to us. They said, hey, we have this client, University of the People. They use Facebook. They're doing a really good job of helping students like get education at a really cheap rate. But they have a problem. They want to enroll more students, and they're getting bombarded with messages on Messenger. So their problem was educating and qualifying students to get them to actually submit an application and enroll in their university. So this is what their problem looked like. They have over 1.3 million likes on Facebook. People would come to their Facebook page and they would ask them just simple questions like, what degree programs do you guys offer? How much does it cost to enroll? What do I have to do like to be qualified to enroll? So this is what their problem was. People would come to their Messenger, and they showed it to me once we started working with them, and it just had probably a couple thousand of just unread messages. And once they started having a conversation with the student, it would span a couple days. They would say, okay, what degree programs do you have? They would send them. And then the user would see it. They would reply in 4 hours. And then the agent would see it in another 4 hours. So it just became this very long process where a lot of students would fall out of their funnel. They would just get disenchanted or maybe go to another service. So the solution was to create a messenger chatbot that was able to answer these questions for them, educate them about their university, and push them to submit an application to their university. So this is what it looks like. People would come to their messenger bot. From the very beginning, they would say, okay, hi, hey, I'm Michelle, the University of People bot. I can help you do these things. And first, we started asking them questions. So initially, the very first question was like, are you a student? Because they had students that were already a part of the university, and they had students that were interested in being a part of the university. So we had different scenarios for those people. So from the very beginning, we would understand like, who is this person? Are they a student? Are they not a student? Based on what they would answer, we would start to tailor the content based on that. So you can see here, someone says, I'm not a student, and we show them degree programs, fees. If somebody continued through, say, the degree programs flow, they would tell us, okay, I want a bachelor's degree in computer science. And then once they got to, so once they started going through the flow, they would start answering questions like, okay, do you have a high school diploma? Did you graduate from a high school that spoke English? And if they met this criteria, then we would allow them to submit an application. So these are results for 3 months. And again, Facebook came to us and said, hey, we need to get this launched. We need to have 3 months of data so that we can go to Facebook F8 and present this use case. So this is the first 3 months of results. So 40,000 students came through the bot, and the bot had around 1 million messages processed in those first 3 months. So if you think about something like that, it would be very hard for their live agent teams to actually provide this type of service, because they didn't, I mean, they probably could in India pay for all these agents, but theoretically the bot was controlling most of the conversation for them. So in those 3 months, 51% of the people who use a bot started an application. So they went through the whole flow, they qualified themselves, and they started an application. Of those 51%, 20% actually completed the application. And these applications are done on their website via their just forms that they have. So I imagine there's some optimization that can happen here with the completion rates, but that's outside of Messenger. And then the biggest thing, and I think this is the biggest takeaway from this whole thing, is that they saw a 62% decrease in their cost per lead versus just going Facebook ad to a landing page or Facebook ad to their website. They saw a 62% decrease in their cost per application through Facebook advertising. And we believe this is because the bot was able to further educate them and engage with them around their needs. And then once we fully understood who they were, and if they're a qualified lead, then at that point they can actually go to the application versus I'm targeting someone with a Facebook ad, I'm going to send them to the website, and then at that point, all that traffic is what they're actually calculating as like cost per lead versus qualified leads going to an application. So how do we do this in 2 weeks? And I really did, when they came to us and said, hey, we need this in 2 weeks, I was like, there's no way we can do this. Like our team, we have a good team, but there's no way you can do this. But we figured out the process, and I think this is a good lesson for other companies to learn, is that you can actually, if you clearly define your goals and your processes, then you can launch agents like this in a really fast process. So the steps to launch. Since this was an admissions flow, we really wanted to talk to the admissions team to fully understand, okay, if you do talk to a person in real life, or they come to your website, or you visit their high school, what does this admissions flow look like? And they were able to kind of write out a decision tree or conversations around how they actually talk with the prospective student and guide them to submitting an application. Yeah, so inside of that, we want to understand lead qualification, like what is a qualified lead? What does that look like to us? How are we going to generate traffic? They had organic and we have ads. And then what is going to be like our fastest way to build this? So here you can see the user, this is just a sample of our user journey that they helped us, that we worked with their teams to build. And again, this was like their admissions team to fully understand, okay, if the first time you talk to a user, how do you get them to submit an application? You need to understand like what degree programs they're interested in, bachelor's, and then from there you can actually move down to the lead generation steps. So once we got into the lead generation, this is where I spoke about earlier in the very beginning. We said, are you a student, yes or no? That helped us really define like, okay, if this guy is already a student, maybe he just has questions about his class, or he has payment questions, something like that, and we can direct them other way. If they say they're not, then we can actually move this down to where we're trying to generate a lead or get them to fill out an application. From there, we go in to understand like what degree programs. And then from the next step, we go in and we understand like the real qualifying questions. And again, this is an online university and they work all over the world, so we have to understand like, did you graduate from a Spanish-speaking or English-speaking country or high school, and are you like do you meet a certain age requirement? So here you can see like a lead profile that we generated for this person. Thankfully, Facebook already tells us like their first and last name, so we don't have to ask them that. But we can, as you can see, we go through the questions here, and we understood like, okay, this person is not a student. They are interested in an associate's of computer science. So we're able to build these profiles around users, and over time, you can tailor the bot to show them specific content. Or if you understand that this person is interested in associates, maybe based on like your CRM data, maybe later you can say, okay, you got your associates, now it's time to get your bachelor's or master's or something like that. So when it came to traffic, the good thing about University People is that their messenger inbox is already bombarded with messages, so that's a good problem to have, I guess. But there were some things that we did around there. We made sure that the page settings were correct, so when somebody comes to your Facebook page, the messenger window pops up automatically, and you could chat with them. They did social posts around their chatbot saying like, hey, we have this chatbot, you can talk with it, and we're driving traffic that way. And then we're also running it on their website. This is just one thing on our side, is we were using the Facebook Messenger plugin to run on their website, but since somebody might not be already logged into Facebook Messenger, we were seeing a drop off there, so we just changed it to a native Facebook widget, so you don't have to be logged into Facebook to use the chatbot. And then the biggest driver for a lot of the traffic was Facebook ads. So this is a click to Messenger ad right here. You can see it has a video, somebody can watch the video. It says this was gonna open in Messenger, connect to Messenger. So we're setting the expectation that if you click this, it's gonna go to Messenger so that people aren't caught off guard. So they can watch the video, there's a call to action, they click send message, and it seamlessly goes right into the Messenger experience, and you can take them from there through your funnel. So there's a lot of really good conversion. If you can target people correctly, you have a good ad, and you can push them into your bots. So this is our platform, SmartLoop, and this made it really easy. I remember, so when we first started this company 3 years ago, we did not have like a WYSIWYG builder. We were just writing code, and we worked with Coca-Cola for a very simple project, and maybe had 2 flows, but just the amount of time that it took us to actually build the bot, because we had to write the code, we had to send it, maybe they had changes. We had just a lot of back and forth in actually iterations and writing code. So now we have a builder, super simple, really fast. So this is why we can build a huge bot in a week, week and a half, 2 weeks, versus writing code. And I think that's really what helped us launch this in the time frame that we needed. So just a couple key points about our platform. It's a point-and-click conversation builder. You don't have to write code. You can write code. We have code sections where you can create your own custom features. You can pull in APIs. You can pull in an API and then do some type of action or show some type of carousel. We have AI and analytics around the AI side right now. Just the biggest thing is we have natural language processing built into the bot already. So if a user types something, we can understand the intent and serve some type of content to them or perform some action. Multi-channel support, so you can deploy this on Facebook Messenger, your website, Viber, Telegram, WeChat, a bunch of other different channels. Again, one-click deployment, so you don't have to worry about setting up infrastructures. You just go log in, click connect to your Facebook page, and it'll go live. We offer push notifications, so you can send out broadcasts to your people on Messenger. A lot of people do it on Viber as well for upcoming campaigns or notifications. And then a big thing that initially, when we all kind of started this, we were like, well, bots are going to solve everything. We don't need to like pass to a live agent. It's just going to do it. It's going to be perfect. Well, that wasn't the case. So we have bot to live agents or live chat. So you can seamlessly transfer somebody from your bot, pause the conversation, go to a live agent, talk with them, close the conversation, and resume the bot. So in conclusion, I think the big thing I wanted to focus on is that lead generation and using Facebook Messenger, Facebook ads is a really good use case for a lot of businesses, and really driving home the point that it's not going to take 2, 3, 4 months. You can actually, if you plan it right, you define your goals, and you really focus in on the use case and what you're trying to do, then you can actually build something in 2 weeks and get it live.
Thank you. Do we have a couple questions?
Couple questions.
Hello, my name is Arun. I'm from Nuance. I have a quick question on how you guys handle incomprehension on that specific university example. Like, how many incomprehension did you see that people go through before they have to escalate to like an agent?
Can you say that one more time?
How many incomprehension, if they say something like, instead of responding to yes or no, they say something completely out of scope, how many did you see going through the incomprehension before transferring to like a live chat?
Yeah, so the question is, as people are going through the flow, if they start typing stuff or they don't answer the questions, how do we accomplish that? Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. So the way we build the bots right now is if like we're asking a simple yes or no question, and again, this is why earlier I talked about like how do we bring someone back into the flow if they go off on a tangent. So right now what we do is if we say a simple yes or no question, we kind of force people to continue on that process, but we can identify if someone says yes, then we can let them pass. If they click the button, then they can go to the next step. So we can identify that.
Yep.
But then we also, over time, as things went on, we started looking back at all the analytics and understood that like maybe this guy got halfway through the flow and then he wanted to ask about pricing. So that's where the natural language processing for us and these use cases comes in where, okay, now we can understand that this person is asking about pricing. We can direct them back to this pricing flow. They can learn about that. And then we have to try to get them back on track.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, any more questions? In the back, yes.
So, quick question. The users are working their way through the flows, right? And at a certain point in time, you either capture some information about them or you ask them to authenticate that information. Can those inputs then be shared or integrated with existing CRM resources, for example, maybe an Eloqua database?
Can you say that last part of your question one more time?
Once you have that information captured in the bot and by the platform, can it be integrated with Eloqua or other CRM databases?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's where we're taking this next step is like for the university, I know they have like this big CRM that helps them manage their enrollments and how they kind of progress through their university. So I think taking that data and pushing it back to the CRM and creating that initial customer lead or syncing up with the customer lead and kind of enriching that data is going to be very good. We haven't really been doing that yet with this university, but I specifically like this telco client that we have. They take all this, they send it to the CRM, and then the CRM kind of becomes the hub where if a person didn't make it to the application step, maybe in a couple days, they can trigger back the bot to say, hey, here's a discount, or hey, maybe you didn't qualify for this program, here's a secondary program that you can use. So I think that's where a lot of this is going, is really use either like inside of our platform or an existing CRM is pushing that out and kind of syncing up and enriching so that you can kind of upsell or resell to people.
Another one back here, sorry. So you mentioned the transition of bot to agent handoff. Can you describe the flow of how that interaction takes place and how are you essentially benefiting a live agent or providing them the context of a conversation, or is the agent expected to kind of read that previous history of conversation and get that context in that manner?
Okay, so the question is, if you escalate to a live agent, how do you handle that process? And then is there a way to kind of enrich that process for the live agent so that they kind of get the context of the conversation? Okay, that's a good question. So specifically for like the university, they have an external service that they use for all their live chats. And we had to integrate our platform, our live chat handoff to go to them. So there's two ways that you can do that. So when it comes to the user side, if they get lost or they get stuck, it hits the fallback intent, or we call it the default, where it says, hey, I'm a chatbot, I didn't understand your question. You can go back to the main menu, you can see frequently asked questions, or you can talk to a live agent. At that point, then they can escalate to the live agent, or we just give them the option to kind of escalate. Some of the clients, they just give them the option like in the main menu or in the persistent menu. So those are two options. If it hits like the default or fallback, it fails, then you can escalate or just give them the option. When it comes to enriching or letting the agent catch up to where they're at, since for like the university client, we had to integrate with an external live chat service that they use. It was kind of hard for us to capture all the transcripts and push it to their live agent service. So what we do is we say, hey, we're going to connect you with a live agent. Please describe your problem, or please ask your question. And at that point, we push all the information, and then the agent can read it and catch up. Inside of our platform, we have all the conversations running. We have a tab that says open conversations, and then from there you can kind of look back and see. But I think it's just kind of either, if you can't summarize or give all the transcript information, just kind of ask the user to summarize or ask their question, and then the agent can pick up from there. Any questions?
A couple of questions about the flow that you have. It looks very much like an IVR kind of flow where you're going very step by step, and people may not want to answer the question in that same order. So my questions are, can the user skip a step? Could they volunteer more information? Or if you ask a question, can it give a different answer and let the flow change in direction?
Yeah, so I think the question is, how do you handle a user that might jump around or ask different questions? And I think we're trying to get better at that, because by nature, people want to have conversations with a bot. They just don't want to follow like just a streamlined clicking flow. So we try to identify these questions that people are going to ask, and we catch that with natural language processing. And then once we kind of feel that we've answered their question, we try to nudge them back. And I think over the next years, we're going to start seeing a lot better systems that can allow a user to go off, but we still understand this is our main goal, and then drive them back to our, I guess, our internal goal of generating a lead or selling a product or something like that. All right, I think that's it. I actually have to run to Facebook headquarters to do a similar presentation to this on this, so I think that's going to end the talk.
The round of applause for Joseph, please.